Warning: what you are about to hear goes against traditional romantic counsel expressed by friends, family, and Instagram memes and quotes. Open-mindedness is advised.
Got my mic muted. Good night, everybody. Good night, everybody. Good night, everybody. And welcome to another edition of The Senate. I am your host, Neil Hoyt. He is your host, Derek Marshall. Brother, glad to see you.
Yeah,
What's up? Tell me something good, neighbor.
I'm here. Well, I'm here, and I'm feeling good. Actually managed to get a little bit of a sweat this evening, so before the
Right, right.
rains came. So I got a couple of aches and pains, which is expected these
Mm.
days, but I can't complain. I am here, and I'm feeling good. So how about you, man? Talk to me. What's
I
going
am
on?
good. I am good. I did not get a skirmish today, which was disappointing. But in the gym, doing what I do behind the scenes. Having some good conversation behind the scenes and everything. Nah, everything good, man. It's not perfect, but when in life is, right? Um,
Yeah,
right. Good night, Vincent. Good night, Liv. I don't know if
living in
Livia.
the
Right.
house.
So Derek, you know what it is. Before we get into it, gotta plug the stuff, brother.
Yeah, man. G Syndicate always in the crank. G Syndicate always in the house. Big up G Syndicate 6, gsyndicate6.com. G Syndicate 6 on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Check out the stuff, man. We got good content there for you. Shout out the guys as always. Kiyomal, Waden, Mark, Antonio,
Hmm.
and Brett. We're G Syndicate. We do Caribbean music. We do American music with a Caribbean twist. We do thing, man. We here. We ready to crank. We ready to crank. So go and check out
Oh,
this
check it
stuff.
out. Check it out.
Good
The
stuff.
men are awesome. If you like acapella, you like good music, good
Good music.
harmonies,
Good
good
music.
harmonies, everything like that. They bring a Caribbean flavor and style to certain songs. It's an experience for sure. Um, all right, Derek, it is time. Yeah,
It's
so
time. It's
let's
time. It's
let's
time.
get
It's
into it.
time.
Right. No. A lot of stuff, a lot of content for you to absorb. We had Chris Rock there. Please don't copyright us, YouTube and Facebook. But yeah, we had Chris Rock. Derek, who's the second guy? Guy saying
A guy called Ali
Ali
Sadiq.
Sadiq. Okay, we had Ali Sadiq, and then we had some comments and some stuff that was floating around. Jennifer asked if she could see the first one again. Jennifer, the first one is 2 minutes longer, so we gotta keep it cranky. Sorry, but basically it was Chris Rock. If you get the chance, I actually could send it to you. Actually, hold on a minute. But yeah, Derek, take us into what we are discussing in specifics tonight.
Yes. Yeah. So as always, we ask the question. We have a little bit of topic for discussion. Why does there seem to be significantly less interest in the celebration of Father's Day than Mother's Day? Why does it seem to be widely acceptable for Father's Day to be hijacked by those who want to laud single mothers and their efforts? And then, of course, the question at the end: what can we do to help Father's Day level up? And by level up, I mean like catch up to the regard in which Mother's Day is held. So if I found all that's kind of stuff to be interesting. And of course, I do a little bit of deconstruction in terms of the argument and stuff. And then somebody sent me this very interesting rant So it's the last thing you would have posted. But for those of you who missed it, no joining us or whatever, let me just read it for you. It's by somebody called Moses Mosiah. Slight rant and pet peeve. I absolutely despise that when Father's Day rolls around, some people offer greetings with a qualifier. Happy Father's Day to all the good fathers, the present fathers. Even worse to me are the mothers who chose that day to let you know Happy Father's Day to me, because I just do all for my child. Effectively letting us know you're bitter and petty and more than likely made a poor choice breeding for somebody who ain't gaff about you. This part right here is a Pandora's box, and I ain't even going no further. But you know,
Oh,
Neil,
we gotta get into it.
we've delved into that a
Yeah,
couple
yeah.
times. But anyhow, each situation different, and we know how some men are. But Kadir, man, you got 364 other days to show your ass. Show a little class on the one day. It ain't about you. Let's give fathers and men the appreciation and flowers they deserve for at least one
Kadir.
day, no? Kadir. You know, and it's interesting when you got people kind of having to come and plead their case like that. As a father, I had a pretty decent Father's Day, man. Neil, I don't know about
It
you,
was
but
restful. You know, I spent the morning with my son. Took him to church,
yeah.
and to honestly for me, my boy walked up next to me, and the man looked at me and stuff, and then we were playing and stuff, and then he was like he remembered, and he gave me a big hug and said, "Happy Father's Day, Daddy. I love you," and he gave me a card, and
And
my
your
day
day
was
was
done.
made. You know what I mean? Yeah. But even with all of that, right? And men, we tend to be fairly simple, even though some people say we aren't. We tend to be fairly simple. We're, easy to please, and stuff like that kind of warms our hearts. And I had breakfast with Eden, and all was good,
Yeah,
with
yeah.
the world. We were good. We did the whole breakfast thing. We went to the beach. It
Hmm.
was cool. We had a time. That's all we needed to
Hmm.
make a day. But I know we have a regular watcher, Steve. Steve is usually in the house, and Steve usually has some very cogent contributions to make. And Steve brought it to my attention in a couple of weeks prior. Steve said, "But I scour in the internet and I can't find a special way for Father's Day. Normally for Mother's Day, to be a whole set of uh, luncheon specials and stores kind of advertising stuff and all that. But he realized he wasn't seeing that kind of thing for
Hmm.
Father's Day, and I found it informative. That's the word I like to use for these kind of things. I found it informative, and then in talking to him, well, I won't put his occupation over the airwaves or whatever, but he was saying, at work they make it a point to ensure that all systems are go for Mother's Day because it is a money making venture. But then for Father's Day, the attitude is literally, man, I don't make no money. Nobody makes sales off Father's Day. Nobody makes
Just let
money
me
off
point out,
Father's
only
Day.
here in Barbados, huh?
Well,
I mean,
sure, that's even
obviously, if you
worse.
compare the numbers overseas, I am sure Mother's Day is overwhelmingly more lucrative than Father's Day. But here in Barbados, the disparity is, ooh.
Heavy. Yes. Yeah, so I found it particularly interesting. And then I kind of started to wonder
Mhm,
why, So I did a little bit of, a little bit of research, a little bit of study, a little bit of
mhm,
drilling down. And then I came up with like three things. And one of them was we tend to look at fathers as irrelevant. And we celebrate single mothers because, hey, the trope is, the narrative is, hey, I don't need a man. So because that narrative is so pervasive, it's easy to say, well, yeah, we don't need a man for this here. So we kind of discard the men on this day, or rather, let me not say discard because not everybody
mhm.
does that, but it is not held in in the high esteem or the regard that, for example, Mother's Day is held. And when you look at popular media, for example, I remember when I was growing up as a teenager, I loved the show Married with Children.
Love and
My guy,
Marriage. Big one.
yeah. My
Al
guy Al
Bundy.
Bundy, right? But Al Bundy was just, a regular guy who can really take his wife, can really take his children, that kind of way. But he was, down for the cause. And whenever it came up to a situation where he ended up having to make a decision, he would always choose his family. Even if he did so begrudgingly, he would always choose his family. And I found it interesting that you look at him, and then oddly enough, another one now in more recent times would have been Modern Family. The guy, a lot of
which is me, but the actor.
Al Bundy character. Well, the guy who plays Al Bundy is actually in Modern Family, right? And the father figure, he's the grandfather in that one, but the father figure in both Married with Children and Modern Family is kind of, bumbling going along. When you look at things like Family Guy, Peter Griffin, then you look at The Simpsons, Homer, then fellas like, as simple as you get, a lot of times they come over as lazy and irresponsible, particularly my man Al Bundy. Shoot, he was a football player at school, college
high
football.
School.
Sorry, not college. He did go to college, a high school football player, and that was his claim to fame, and that was the extent the rising of his star. You know what I mean? So he's a shoe salesman.
Has no ambition for anything else.
You're right. So again, lazy, irresponsible, right? So it's a case where you kind of see them as one of the graphics you would have put up earlier, as sperm donors, and a piggy bank. You don't have much else going for you, as you said, not particularly ambitious, and it's a case where even in the same Married with Children, in the credits, in the theme song, everybody comes in the house, and my boy just pulls out some money, they take it and they go. Nobody really checks for him to see if he's happy or not. Shoot, even the dog comes and takes somebody from Al Bundy at the end of the credits, you know what I mean? So there's a perception that's kind of been fed to us through popular media. Yeah, man, kind of lazy, kind of irresponsible. As you said, unambitious, so no big no drive for much, right? And if that's the message that's propagated through popular media, it's kind of easy to grab onto that and run with it, especially if in a very laid back Caribbean context, if you know what I mean. Because within the Caribbean, we're a little easy going, we're a little free flowing. It's a little easier to kind of make things work, So that was one point. Another point I found is that people generally say that fathers don't care, a lot of times you hear the expression that he doesn't want to support the children, right? You can, generally speaking, custody does not go to fathers in the event of a fracture of the relationship. The mothers tend to get the children, right? And even then, when there is time to be spent with the father, sometimes you can get a little bit of micromanaging. For example, when Eden is with me, I kind of like, we're about to play, enjoy yourself, I am not micromanaged, but mothers tend to look at the children a little differently and treat them a little differently. It's a bit more, but the kid gloves come out a little bit. Whereas with fathers, it's like, they fall down, man, you know what I mean? A fall will kill you, but in some instances, particularly when there's a fracture in the relationship, it can be a case where it's like, all right, I policing every single interaction a father has with the child, right? And especially if you can't provide that money aspect to, then you hear you're supporting the children or that you don't want to support the children. I remember that might be a decade ago now. There was a youngster who was teaching, and his mother and father, they are separated for whatever reason. So the father, was sending stuff for the son. And the mother would say, hey, we don't want things, we want money. So she would take the stuff and she would cut it up or whatever. You know what I mean? And sometimes, not all times, let me say that because I feel the need to say it here. Not all times, but sometimes it can be communicated that, the father doesn't want to take care of the children, right? Which leads me to point number 3, which I found. Sometimes it is communicated that the father is the bad guy. Some mothers can go the route of putting the very adult business to not so adult children and telling them the father's a deadbeat.
What was it? Was he saying, Derek? What was he saying? Toxic mothers.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Right. That just hit me.
Yeah, I'll send you. I was to send it
no
to you
problem.
for block. Matter of fact, let me do that while I'm speaking to you now. So yeah, it can be a case where it's communicated that oh, your father ain't a good. He's a deadbeat. I'm trying to figure out how we would say that in Barbadian
he ain't a good
parlance. Yeah, we would just say he ain't a use.
Ain't gonna nuisance.
You're gonna nuisance free. You're gonna nuisance free. And that's something that can be communicated. On the other hand, on the flip side, let me say that very clearly and very quickly, there are some mothers out there who do in fact protect the reputations of their fathers, who in fact may be deadbeats, who in fact may be actual deadbeats. And there are mothers out there who will not say a bad word about those men. But they got the other side of the coin. Something they cannot wait.
Can't wait.
Yeah, to throw your business in the street. So that's what we find. What we're dealing with as men. I find it, and then because we're so easygoing, right? Because we're so easygoing, we generally don't need all the fanfare and flourishes to have a decent day, to have a good day.
While you're talking, I can just put up the graphic you just sent me.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so yeah, this is an interesting graphic that I found as well. Not to trigger anybody tonight, but this is what we're dealing with. So yeah, I find it's a little easier for men to feel appreciated. We put it that way. It takes a lot less, and like for me, it was me and Eden at breakfast. It was a great day. We went to the beach. Afterward, we had a little swim, but she don't really swim, but we're working on it, and that was a day for us. You know what I mean? It may not be so simple for other people. It may not be so simple, particularly. This tends to be a lot more of a grand showing and a lot more of an effort. Let me put it that way. To say, let's do this for mommy. Let's do this for mommy.
I mean, I can add to it, right? Like, in my opinion, first things first, we gotta understand in the economy what makes more money. Oh no, sorry. Who spends more? Who is the person that would more spend on day-to-day items and things? Women, right? Their spending power usually would buy, the spa dates, the dinners, the dresses, the makeup, all of these things. As you rightly said, men are simple. Women want, men literally just want a day of peace. A man might, peace and peace, but a man may want a power tool or something like that. But generally speaking, here in Barbados, a man ain't really asking for much. A man ain't really, he ain't really into the spa. You can't really market that to men or whatever because that is seen by society standards to be, effeminate and you're less than a man for getting those things. So to me, I think it comes down to the reason why it is more promoted for women is that, people can spend more for women. There are more things that you can buy for women, or more things you can spend on a woman like spa date, dinner, lunch, trips, staycation, whatever. Where men are fussy. That's exactly it. Men are fussy. You get them a tie or a pair of socks. But my mom Mark said,
yeah,
Mark burning them.
I burning any ties. I will not be
No,
that
I love
extreme.
ties.
I said I burn any ties and socks and underwear. Right? I will not be that extreme. But for me, sure, I could do a spa day. I like a spa day. I would appreciate it. You know, I could take a trip somewhere. I could go to a fancy restaurant, sit down, eat some food, some overly expensive food. I could do that. You know, I have no problem whatsoever doing those things. But I see a couple people in the chat saying that they found that Father's Day is not as sidelined as it was. I find that very interesting.
I mean, look at it.
It could get worse.
I mean, you know she isn't technically wrong. I mean, years ago, Father's Day would come and go. As a matter of fact, Father's Day, I will not lie to you. This year, for the last few years, actually, since I've become a father, I've had to Google where Father's Day is.
Yeah. And I found Steve was very accurate because when he brought it to my attention, I started to pay attention to it too. It was like, you're hearing the specials, and you're hearing the ads and all this thing.
Father's Day
restaurant offering lunch. You're hearing that. You're hearing that. And it is what it is, you know. But there tends to be the feeling that men don't need much or require much, and while that may be true, I don't think men have a problem receiving stuff, right? I mean, for us, but except Mark, who say he burn his
tie socks underwear to burn.
But if you give men somebody messaged me a couple of days before Father's Day to ask, you know, what would be good gifts for fathers, you know, and they say, well, you the same thing they tell you, you know, I could give me a spa day, I could take that. A nice cologne, I could use that. A nice shirt, a pants, you know, a pair of shoes, a wallet set, anything like that. Something like that that a man could find that'd be useful. For me, Neil, I am not big on the restaurant thing. And I'll tell you why. Because I figure, because I have a fairly decent digestive system, invariably within the next 12 to 24 hours, your gifts are going to become a part of the system. You know what I mean? So give me something that is going to last a little longer. Because the food might taste good, but you know, my system works pretty well. And your gift is going to be gone by this time tomorrow. So, you know, as they said, Keith says she saw a lot of ads and specials this year for Father's Day.
I was actually quite surprised.
Yeah. At least you can say that you can admit that it's not usually the case. Yeah. Folks, don't gaslight me tonight.
Man, no. No.
I am not going crazy, right? The men are going crazy either. The disparity is real.
Whether you're seeing more of it, it still is not as prevalent as it is for women.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, I really want to get into some of the responses to the Facebook post, because I found the Facebook post particularly interesting today, and it got a bit of some steam going on with it. My boy Stefan, you see Stefan, he comes through our chat every now and again. Vincent says, to be fair, their lunch for Mother's Day is standard. Yeah.
At least when they get lunch.
You know what I mean? So Stefan said, I think the day should be Daddy Day instead, so we could draw the distinction. Somebody responded and said, why Mother's Day has a distinction? There are bad mothers out there, yet no mommy versus mother debacle. This Daddy Day is just another way of doing exactly what the woman said. One day, geez. Yeah, that was interesting. And let me get to the real interesting comment. One person said, "Those who know me, you know that from age 9, I was raised by a single father. I've also had friends and family members who had absent fathers and whose children have absent fathers. I know for some of them it's a hard day. That being said, I definitely still think it needs to be celebrated as opposed to hijacked. A mother can't be
Mm.
both parents. Neither can a father. They both need a time for celebration. And I find that particularly interesting and on point. Then I had another interesting
Mm-hmm.
response that went this like this. It takes a long time to change culture. This trend is rooted in behavior over time, and that for many still permeates their everyday lives. For me, the focus shouldn't be to get women to change. It should be on getting consistency from men across the board in their behavior so that the culture changes. That is fixing this at the root cause and not trying to put lipstick on a pig. And I am going to respond to that. And I agree,
Oh.
right? I agree. I know a lot of people find that interesting, but I agree. We do need to ask men to be more involved in the rearing of
Mm-hmm.
their children. We do need to ask men to be more involved with the children point blank. You know, I agree wholeheartedly. There's no
In the middle ground there.
in the middle ground with that, right? That's
Yep.
just what it is. Point blank, put off it down. And here's the part of it that kind of rubbed me a little raw because you can't say there were people who had a lot of who took a lot of umbrage with when you say Black Lives Matter and people then say all lives matter, right? We get that all lives matter. We understand that fact. But we want you to know that, particularly in this instance, Black Lives Matter. So, Father's Day, right? Fathers matter. We know that single mothers matter. We get this. We understand this. But by the same token, please appreciate that it is our day and we'd like to have it, right? Without having to acknowledge a very flagrant point. We know that there are single mothers out there. We know this.
Shoot, we are
You
two
know what I mean?
examples of
We
being
are
raised by.
we've been raised, but I have never, in the 41 years that I've been on this earth, told my mother happy
Oh hell
Father's Day.
no, hell
I
no! I
never.
had to every year. I had to either get a card or write. My mother would make sure call your father.
You
Even
know,
this Sunday, my mother call your father. You call your father? I say yeah, mommy, call my father.
there you go. So it's not a case of us not recognizing that there needs to be a change made on our part. For example, when we see people like Nick Cannon just out trifling, you got what, 4 children in a matter of
Yeah,
weeks or
you got
some
four
dog like
children
that.
in a matter of months. But like the ratio is crazy. The average is crazy.
Yeah, right. So when you see something like that, I don't care how much money you got. That's trifling. That's pookie and rare rare. You know what I mean? You got enough money, but you are
And
pookie
then
and
you
rare rare.
yeah, go ahead.
Because at the end of the day, you cannot reduce or
Yeah.
yeah, you cannot reduce the role that a father is
Four
going to
children
play
is
to
four
just
children in 6
money.
months. Karen is saying. Good night, Karen. 4 children in 6 months.
That is crazy. That is crazy, right? So you're saying in his brain, I got money, I can support these children. Yeah, granted. what role are you playing in their lives?
And that's the thing, right? The thing is, a lot of people feel as though that the money is all it is. But yeah, he may spend a weekend here or a weekend there or whatever, but you have 7 children though.
Yeah,
And with your schedule and the way you have your life set up, unless you, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that there aren't men out there that won't make the time. I mean, shoot, if it was they can, they had the money, I would make sure, especially if in the situation of the mother and the father, I am the quote unquote breadwinner or the person making the most money, the more money. I would have my children live with me. You understand what I mean? You know, money ain't a thing. If money ain't a thing, you will spend that money to make sure that your children are being reared in a fair environment, that they have both the masculine and the feminine, the mother and the father, and their energies.
But you know what it is really, Neil, at the crux of the matter? He thinks his money can absolve him of responsibility of taking care of those children. So you just walk about boil like spinach, breathing all over the place, and then those women got to take care of those children. All alone by them lonesome selves. Right? And that is why people will feel that they have the right to try to hijack Father's Day. That is why people will feel they feel no qualms about saying shout out the single mothers.
Which is funny to me, right? Because, not across you, but it's funny because some of these women that would be saying, you know, shout out the single mothers and this and that and the next. I saw that comment about the sperm donors or whatever. I am sure, you know, a lot of these women have to call their fathers and say, Happy Father's Day, Daddy, I appreciate everything you've given me. And, you know, it is one of those things where as much as you could say happy, men don't care, right? Let me, and I think when I say men, obviously, I mean, generally, we men do not care. Whether, again, we just want peace and peace. We get 1 or 2 of them things on a day, that was a good day, right? All the other stuff is icing, gravy. You know what I mean? So, Father's Day comes around. Happy Father's Day, Daddy. You get a card from the child. You get a hug. You get a cake. You get some lunch. That is all fine and good. But we generally do not want any stress. And we don't really care if other people say Happy Father's Day to all the single mothers. And we don't care. You know what I mean? We don't care. But I understand your purpose in this is to normalize kind of appreciating the fathers out there. Because I can tell you, and I know Derek can talk about it as well, it ain't easy, and you know, we got fathers in the chat as well. It ain't easy in these times to have a child. Like, I ain't even talking financially, but what I am learning in my journey as a father is that you have to be hyper vigilant with what your child consumes and observes, and you say it around your children, and just even in how they critical think and how they rationalize certain things. Like the other day, my son, he was at my house, and we got some renovations happening over the last few years. My grandmother, who passed away in 2017, her room was there. So he came and he was asking about the room. Yes, I was saying my and Nana's mommy died and everything like that. He had a lot of questions about death, to the point where I was like, yo, I ain't qualified. But then he started saying, you know, I said, well, you know, everybody has to die, you know. He said, I said, Reese, you know, at some point Daddy's gonna have to die too. He said, I don't want you to die. I said, well, you know, I am hoping that I spend most of your life with you. He was like, so, you know, he said, I don't want you to die. I said, so what do you want me to do? He said, I don't want you to die. I want you to stay when I'm 80, when I'm 90, when I'm 100 years old. I want you to be alive. And I said, well, Reese, I can't guarantee that. And he just went silent and he started to cry. I mean, like, ugly tears cry. And I was like, no, it's okay. It's okay. You see, that's just life. But you can't try. You can. It was very hard for me to communicate that to a 5-year-old, to the point where I had to bring his mother. And she too struggled to communicate it with him because, you know, how do you explain life and death? He understands the concept, you know, but he doesn't understand a context for him personally, if that makes sense. So we as fathers, I mean, I ain't saying that everybody's a stellar father. Shoot, they got dogs. We admit here on both sides of the fence, there are good and bad. Yeah?
Correct.
And we can talk about absentee fathers, and we can get into and delve into why these fathers are absent. And you would be surprised at some of the reasons why these fathers are absent. And if you were to break it down case by case, it ain't really that your man's a dog. You understand? But however,
You know, we can argue, Neil, that a lot of men do not want to turn their back on their children. And you have to ask yourself why they have done that. You know what I mean? Now that you said they've been, let me get a little segue from you when you said that there's good and bad on other side. As I told you, the Facebook chat got very interesting today. So somebody responded to the comment I just read, and they said, "Plain devil's advocate.
Yes,
here.
sir.
How about instead of trying to get the negative-minded females to stop calling out fathers for falling short or taking attention away from the great ones on their day, we encourage males to call out all the so-called mothers out there who ain't shit." Like the sound of that? I mean, fair is fair. There are a ton of unfit mothers out there, but how often do you hear men telling the truth about them? These fathers suffer the fate of biting their lips and staying silent. Whether raised by either or both parents, most children are taught to respect, honor their mothers. So as adults, many males find it hard to publicly, even privately at times, bring attention to the unfit mothers they have to deal with due to that ingrained respect, or more often because they know their voices will be ignored or cried
or don't
dumb.
care.
This is a man that that's responded with it, right? So come on, let's try something new. Mother's Day will come back around inevitably. Gather your ammo, remember every failure, remember every lie, write down every shortcoming, and when their day arrives, take it from them. After all, fear is fear, right?
Right.
Right?
Before you go on, happy. Good night, Erica. Good night, Sean. Great to see you, Sean. Particularly, I hope you are well, my brother.
My boy, Eddie Crank.
Yeah, man, it's really good seeing you. I see Winsome. I think we need to. Sorry, you got your eyes better than me. I think we need. Yeah.
I think we need less public discussion comparing men and women, and more people shutting down threads that serve to perpetuate negative stereotypes. I am going to come back to that, Winsome. I'm going to come back to that. Let me read these comments, 2 responses from 2 ladies in the chat today. One of them is actually our very own Dion. She was on the show a couple of weeks ago. She's here tonight.
Dion.
Dion, I am going to put you on blast right now. So Dion says, so while there needs to be a cultural shift that will take longer to happen, but in the meantime, we can change our language. It's not, to me, putting lipstick on a pig. It is part of the whole process of changing the culture. We all know bad fathers exist, but if you're in that situation, you don't actually have to comment and say anything on Father's Day. Commenting doesn't make him change. Commenting doesn't actually make you feel, the female, feel any better, so why do it? Commenting to praise yourself purposely on Father's Day is basically self-serving, in my opinion. As much as you are doing an awesome job on your own, you aren't mother and father. You're an awesome mother. Just own that fact. We have to remember words have weight and meaning. So when you continually harp on the negative, you stay negative. When you stay negative, your child gonna absorb that negative. As an adult, it ain't only about you anymore. Dion, if I could have given you a kiss, I would have given you a kiss for this particularly cogent response. Right? Then we had another response from Crystal. I don't know if she is in the chat tonight, but shout out Crystal Howell. She said, check out Crystal's. She does a financial show on here on Facebook as well too. So you can check out Crystal as well, right? If all mothers were doing such an amazing job, we wouldn't have so many deadbeat fathers and men to complain about. I figured this would tickle you a little bit. But I guess them men just raise themselves. So I'll stand here in my little
I read that.
corner.
Oh, yes, sir. I remember that one now.
I told you it got spicy on Facebook today.
That's a sexy comment.
And then, Cheryl, she comes
Tanti, shout out Tanti.
Tanti.
I know she ain't here tonight.
She's here. She might be here tonight. Shout out Cheryl. Cheryl says, I hate to see it. The same said man you lay down under and vex now cause one of done, or he is less than an exemplary dad. Well, he was always so though. A tiger don't change his stripes. Hush your foolish mouth do and let the man have his day. Good, bad, or indifferent, he is father. The end.
And that's the critical that's the critical point, right? Father's Day is how I see Father's Day personally is that Father's Day are for those men that are fathers, not sperm donors, but men that are fathers, men that do the role that you and I do, that all of the men do. They take care of the things that, you know, you do adult things. Adult things come from it. You gotta put on your big boy pants and deal with it, right? So to me,
Yep.
Father's Day is about those men that are fathers, father figures, men that are willing to do the very hard work in rearing and giving their energy to a child, right? Or children. So I don't necessarily, when I think of Father's Day, I don't think about a man that had a child with a woman and don't look back at each child and don't, you know, just you only find out that person is a father come a funeral or something like that. They like, you know what I mean? They got a lot of people that's find out that they got a father when they say. You understand? So if they're lucky,
they're
so
lucky.
to me, that's how I rationalize it. Father's Day to me are for the men that are fathers that are active in their child's life and play a significant part in rearing the child. No matter what they have to go through, no matter what they have to do or whatever, that's what Father's Day is for. And likewise, Mother's Day is the same. It just so happens that this more women are mothers and motherly figures than men. Let's be honest, there are more women, and even if there weren't more women, women have the nurturing type. So you would have an aunt, you would have all sorts of people that are facilitating the role of mother and actual mothers doing a very good job or doing their best to raise children. They have their day. I just think that you gotta give it hats off to the men that out there doing the job. Now, because you as a woman have a deadbeat dad for your child or your children, that don't mean that you all come and run it for the rest of it though. And talk about Happy Father's Day to all you single women. But that sentence in itself makes no sense. It makes no sense because fathers cannot be women. Therefore, show to all the Happy Father's Day to all of the women, single women or single mothers, don't make sense to me. So,
Um,
as somebody mentioned, is self-serving. I think that is just bringing attention. You're just operating from a place of hurt. You know, my thought process on that. Get therapy. If you can be so bitter to type all of the characters to say Happy Father's Day to all the single, and you can type in sperm donor and this and that next, hit backspace until it clear. I'll call up a therapist, man. Heal from that. Heal from that.
yeah, Neil, I would agree with you on that. I want to go back to Vincent's comment. Vincent said, I think we need less public discussion comparing men and women, and more people shutting down threads that serve to perpetuate negative stereotypes. I really want to push back on that, right? And I'll tell you what, as I told you, as I said just now, I found it heartwarming that the women in particular push back on those sentiments today. Because I know, and I talk about it often, the sisterhood, the girl code. I know the women don't want to break the girl code, the girl code, right? And it's easier for women to kind of band together and kind of ride everybody on the same track going wherever, But I found it heartwarming that the women were the ones who really pushed back today and say, and said, that ain't cool, right? And I keep saying it, right? Erica is saying shifting focus to unfit mothers away from bad fathers seems like a deflection to me. Nobody has done that. I keep saying it here. It can't come from men. It can't come from
at least
men.
not initially.
Men,
at least not initially.
Yeah. We do not have the power to effect any change when it comes to women.
Not our community.
Don't. Because not only that, when you get those kind of comments like, or people, you got sperm donors, you're perceived as a sperm donor. The level of regard is not there. Right? It's scant respect at best. So it can't come from a man. Words like those hit home when women say to the sisters, yo, this ain't on. This ain't on. What you doing here ain't on. Right?
The same way we are supposed to hold our men accountable.
Yeah. But they won't hear from we. You know what I mean? I saw some, I truly bristled when I saw the sperm donor coming.
You get far, I tune it out.
Right? And some of the things I wanted to respond and say would have been out of bounds. Would have been out of bounds. So I kind of like leave alone outside, or stump and let it keep a tape down, you know what I mean? But other people sent me.
What was the response to that post? I remember you telling me off air who posted it and on what platform. What was the response to it generally? Were there a lot of likes? Were there a lot of you go girl?
I didn't.
Because it would have been interesting to see what the response would have been for that post.
I got a couple of likes, you know, as most things would.
The
platform. It is what it is. People scroll it, they hit like and keep moving. But I found it interesting from doing a little bit of digging that I think only one male liked it.
You know, they can always be one. Yeah,
only one. But I found it informative that only one male liked the particular post. But and it didn't get the response that I figured the person would have wanted. But I was happy that I didn't pick up that kind of traction. It really was. But you know, I think we need I gotta start watching your face.
You know, I just see that play in real time. That was hilarious on my part. Because I made a comment, I can't hide. People know my expressions, I can't hide my face. Right? So when my facial expression changed, it caused probably Derek to do something, and I am seeing his reaction now reacting to something I reacted to, and it was hilarious to me.
Okay, right. So let's go in the chat. See what the others are saying. Vincent says fear is fear, but what are we aiming for when we drag mothers on Mother's Day? It's better to try to change the negative views of fathers. I'm not even sure why this had to be said. It was said to show the absurdity of doing it to fathers on Father's Day. Right? I think the guy prefaced everything by saying he wants to be devil's advocate. So that's why he said we can drag the mothers on Mother's Day. Because nobody is doing that. Right? That is not even a
That's not consideration. That's not considered.
That does not enter anybody's frame of consciousness. So
on Mother's Day, the men just doing whatever.
That's cool. But on Father's Day, for some reason, we seem to think we have license to do that to fathers, right? Greg Fergie says, I think we need to move towards promoting respect for each other. Let me read that again. I think we need to move towards promoting respect for each other. I had to wish my grandfather Happy Father's Day out of respect, not because he was good or bad. He wasn't bad, but we got to learn about him later when we were older children. I see you, Fergie. I see you. That's how it goes, my brother. Kwame says to Winsom's comment, that was tongue-in-cheek. I don't think any man would actually do something like that. Yeah, we ain't doing it. Erica says, I think calling out a bad father publicly hurts the child or children in the end.
Yep.
It does.
It really does.
It does. Because that child now has to be walking around in the school community, in the community home, around them in the neighborhood, knowing or being told that his father is no use. Right? And it's not only a reflection on the children. Well, it's not an reflection on the children. It is an indictment and a reflection on you as a mother. So when they come down here, so in the chat now, and they see somebody say what's wrong with calling them out for being who is not being a father, it should be a sperm donor. That's your choice.
If I could hug you, dog. I was literally about to call that time out to take. Yeah, brother. I literally was gonna call time out for that.
That is your choice, as Auntie Cheryl said. You ain't lay down with your man.
You consciously chose to lay down with your man. And I know you didn't lay down with your man for the man to just donate sperm.
You know what I mean? Let me be real. Let me be real. I tell you that every week. I can't hear the bullshit, you know. So let me be real. If you decide, apologies in advance to any divine man, but you know, divine man, that I am your champion, right? I am your champion in the matters of the heart, right? So you have decided that you want to sleep with a van man, right? A man that you know upon the hustle for he 350. Now he is getting whatever percentage of every 350. You know that this man is not working for no $3,000, $4,000 when the month comes. You know this going into it. No. I understand that, you know, we got to be regional and international followers, but I am going to delve into the Bajan vernacular a little bit here. So, those of you who are not Bajan, please stay with me, right? You know full well, this man, his resources are limited. Good. One. You know that this fella got 2 or 3 children from 2 or 3 women already. You also know that this man does not look at the 2 or 3 children that he already got. I ain't tell you don't teeth piece by his side. I ain't tell you that at all. He might look good. You may like the I don't know, what you see and what you smell and hear from the Vama. You
And
may
the
like
sperm
that.
donation may be a fun time.
That might sweeten your pocket. That might sweeten you. You may say, you know what? I like this here. I'm going forward with this. Nothing wrong with that. Get you little action. But do not get pregnant for said man. If he already got 2 or 3 children that he does not look at, when you come and bring yours, no, you only got your 1. No, he got 3 or 4. If he wasn't looking at 2 or 3, he can't look at 3 or 4.
See that pull-out game, Vincent? Sorry, Derek. See the pull-out game? I never ever played that pull-out game yet. Pull-out game what? I double bagging.
Shoot.
Double bagging.
Don't do that. And then you vex with the world, saying the man in the use. Let me slide over from the environment, because I don't want to say that I'm attacking the environment, even though I am coming out in their defense and in support of environment, because I believe firmly that environment should have the same opportunity to get a woman on a particular level as me or you need or anybody in chat. I believe that firmly. Okay. You come and you pick up with me. I am a struggling artist. I saying with you syndicate a little bit, that's it. COVID come, everything shut down, we ain't making the money. So I gotta depend on a little 1 gig here and a 1 gig there. They make money. No, it was this before COVID. A 1 gig here and a 1 gig there. But you come and you see me, you like me.
I like seeing I want to.
I like him, boy. I like him, boy. Hey, he nice and
sweet.
All right. And you give me a little action. All right.
Thank you very much.
But no, ladies, you can't do that. Because why they only got the 1 child. But let me say, for argument's sake, all right, shoot, even if I didn't have a 1 child, I ain't got the children at all. I ain't got no job. I ain't got no job. I ain't got no means of getting the money.
Stable.
I can't even take care of myself. How are you going to take care of you?
And the child.
And the child too.
It's true.
I know you vex with the world and telling people that I am a noose.
Especially
Sorry, I am not any use.
Especially when you ain't now come out and the child ain't now born and you like, oh shoot, I have a job. Oh shoot, I don't make money like that. Oh shoot.
You know what I mean? But this ain't no turn up.
I ain't no get break. I ain't no turn break.
I was Brett Prince Tart.
When you had it for me, I was Brett. When you give it to me, I was Brett. When the child come, guess what?
I was Brett. And here it is now. I Brecker. Because no, I got every little thing I got. I got him bread for you and this child. But I had the money before, but I got less now. I got less now. So don't turn around now and cuss me because I ain't got the money to give you that I never had before.
Karen, we not excusing any foolishness or encouraging any foolishness. If we're saying that, you know, we said it before, you know, if you have a child, man or woman, take care of your business. You do adult things, you have to take care of your business. However,
I fail to see the foolishness that we're talking
however,
about.
where we are now is speaking on women who get upset talking about sperm donors. Like, you're writing this beyond the wall, you know. You're writing this beyond the wall here.
Because facts, Branham, condoms cheaper than Pampers.
Look.
Right? Nobody is saying that the man who lay down with you and get a child is not responsible for that child. Nobody's saying that. We are not letting those men off the hook at all. But when you pass 18 years old and you could drive a car, a matter of fact, you could drive from 16. You legally could vote from 16. Have sex for those of you who are my regional and international audience members. So you driving, pooping, having sex. And then at 18 years old, you could vote. You can decide the future of this country in government, whatever. Right? You can impact those decisions on that level. You could drink alcohol in Barbados, wherever you can start from wherever. That's how we get down. You could smoke cigarettes legally. You could buy them legally. Don't tell me that you can make all of those decisions and now you want to come choose poorly and then it is the man's fault. Nah, I can't buy you that.
Well. Not only the man's fault, because
I am not saying that the man should be absolved of the responsibility of dealing with his children. I am not saying that at all. Let me say that again.
Erica, it ain't true. In my experience, it is mostly listen.
That is so inaccurate.
Listen to me.
It is mostly men that ready to die with the condoms, though. That is inaccurate.
I am the post. I literally told somebody today, right? Coming up when you're starting out and you're doing your little folk thing or whatever. I was the poster boy for Durex. I still am the poster boy for Durex, right? I have had unprotected sex, of course, and it feels great. However, I know where my bread butter, and I know what you're ready for and what I ain't ready for, financially or otherwise. So I am the poster boy. I am the brand ambassador for Durex in Barbados, right? So you know how many times you ain't got a condom and you're just saying, all right, we ain't got to keep it cool. Or you do have a condom and you're doing your work and thing, and the woman say, you can take that off, you know, I want to feel you raw. I have never told a woman, forget the condoms. I have never, right? And I know, to be fair, I'm not dismissing your perspective, because obviously you're a woman, you deal with men, that may be your experience. But from my experience of talking to my male friends or whatever, yeah, they got some men that raw is law, but men ain't stupid. Well, the men I know ain't stupid. Men ain't lying in a lame horse.
Every time you all sit down and make that excuse about, oh, you know the man ain't had no money, but you're still poopy, or you choose poorly, y'all are making excuses for being deadbeat parents. No. Let me repeat myself. The man is not absolved of responsibility for his children. He's not. And Jennifer raises the point. Why you not on your pills,
condoms,
or have your own
right?
condoms.
And that's the thing. Don't only leave it to men to say, oh, he ain't had no condoms, so no. The man entering you, and yes, hold on a minute now. Because I know there are some cases where you later with a man thinking full and well that this man is great. You can spend the rest of your life with this man. This man can do X, Y, and Z, right? And they
And then
don't
it
turn
don't
out
turn
well.
out so.
We
We ain't
are
talking about
again,
that. We are speaking about people who willfully go and put themselves in a bad
again
situation.
carrying
And then when it turn out poorly,
again carrying who the cat fits. Let them wear it. We not when we use generalizations. It is not. We are not speaking about every woman, obviously. So who the cat fits.
and there's so many options.
Jeez, so man.
There's so
Post
many,
coitus.
you know what
So
I
many
mean?
options.
There's
Morning
so many
after.
options.
There is the I so foolish. I don't gonna say that. I don't gonna say that out here,
Yeah.
but I so stupid. I can't.
Yeah.
It's just something don't come up.
But anyhow,
Whee! I am an
fact
idiot.
remains.
I am an
Fact
idiot.
remains. Fact remains. And I think it was Justin that made the comment earlier. Let's normalize accountability on both sides, because unless you can't get carried away, which is rape, you freely gave it up. You also have the responsibility of having protected sex. Women control sex. He says it twice. Women control sex. Right? Let me come back to my original point. Let me come back. It takes two. It takes two to make that child. Right? And both parents, sperm donor or otherwise, need to be in that child's life. Both parents have their day.
Ooh, look at Kwame look.
Both parents have their day to be celebrated. And I think we need to do a better job of celebrating our fathers, making sure that they feel the same love, respect, adoration, whatever you want to call it, on their day as we do a month prior for the mothers on their day.
Because it
That's all.
serves no one no benefit. There is no positive, none at all, for you calling a man a sperm donor, for you putting that out there publicly, for you saying it or what. You know what? The man's a dead horse. Man ain't no good. The man's a deadbeat. Get on with it. You know what I mean? Get on with it.
Yeah, and
Because at the end of the day, you calling the man a sperm donor, the man ain't gonna one day read our Facebook post and say, oh, I can't have that. I'm gonna be super dad. No, the man's a lame duck.
yeah,
The
they
man's a
all
lame
said,
duck. Yeah, the
ain't
man's a
changing
lame
the man.
duck. So if you know
Ain't
the man
changing
is
the
a lame
man.
duck, it is unfortunate. You can be resentful. Seek healing from it. However you decide to personally deal with it, that's up to you. But you publicly calling the man, because I'll be honest, right? You see that sperm donor comment that was read, that we put up with the caption, right? We put
Yeah.
up. You told me who that was from. And when I found out who that was from, and knowing what I know about what I know, I was like, I don't understand how this benefiting you. This ain't benefiting
Anybody.
your child. This ain't benefiting the sperm donor. This ain't
Anybody.
benefiting your friends. This ain't benefiting you. Because you gonna hit send, you gonna feel good for the likes and comments, but guess what you gotta do tomorrow? You have to be a single mother to a child that has a deadbeat father. I don't know. I just don't.
Ain't
I
changing.
just don't see. You can feel what you feel, how you feel about what you feel, right? I just don't see why you have to put it out there. Karen is saying, by the way, the only people I saw being negative about Father's Day were men. Interesting. Men,
I don't even know what
wait,
to
hold
say
on.
to
She
that.
goes on. Men who were being bitter bitches all week long posting poop about single mothers. Let me read that again because, again, my eyesight. Men who were being bitter bitches all week long posting poop about single mothers. Okay. Um,
Oh,
I
Yeah.
Karen, I would
Yeah.
say, I don't know who these guys are. It's unfortunate that they were being bitter bitches, as you put it, posting foolishness about single mothers. I mean, it takes all kinds. And yeah, who the cap fits, let them wear it. I'm not saying that that was not what your experience is or that men didn't do that. Of course, there are men that do that. So, at the end of the day, the discussion has to be had to say, be responsible for your children. Be responsible for your children. Be responsible for your children. Because my mother told me at 70 years old, asked me, I was I was going out on a date. Shout out Margaret Hoyt if you're watching. I know she's watching, but at 17, I remember we were driving home. And she asked me, I was telling her, yeah, I'm going to drive in, I'm going out with this nice young lady or whatever. She said, okay. You got condoms? I said, mommy. So I asked you a valid question. You got condoms? I said, no, I don't have no condoms. And she said, you got to buy condoms. And I I guess from my body language, she's like, so you don't want to buy condoms? I could go and buy them for you. I said, mommy, that's all right. Shoot, I can even show you how to put them on. I said, mommy, I got it covered, right? And she told me after that, all jokes aside, she said right after that, you ain't bringing no child in here and you can't take care of it. You are not, if you can do adult things, you have to be able to deal with the adult consequences. So, I don't know.
Okay, let me just nip back a little bit. Erica says men should call out their deadbeat brothers. See how things change. But you keep embracing them at the bar and on the ball court. He is my brother, but he could do more as a father. No, you shouldn't claim him as a brother. He is a bum. You don't want to be associated with him anymore. And I went back and I'm going back and I'm studying the fellas I know that I play ball with and stuff on that level. And I can't say that I know my guy Snow being here, so it's very involved.
Very involved. I look up to him.
I know Silky is very involved with his children as well. And there's the guys that I know that do have children. You obviously, Nard. I saw Nard today. Nard gave you a show.
Nard.
Yeah, he very involved with his children as well. Moxie, shoot, we don't even see Moxie anymore, you know what I mean? But he dealing with his daughter, Larry.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's
Larry Marshall boy.
Yeah, so my circle is a little different. So I can't really speak to Erica's.
I can't even speak to Karen's point because I don't know them men. Those men are not on my Facebook. Those men are not on my timeline. Those men are not on my IG. Those men are not on my Twitter. Those men are not on my WhatsApp.
So when some asked the question, did anyone tell the person who posted the sperm donor comment to take it down or apologize? Did anyone call him or her on it?
That was a woman.
And that is the question I asked. And yes, for Karen to recognize, because Karen trying here now to gaslight me as well, telling me that she sees men making these comments.
Hold on a minute there. You dipsy doodle in here. Karen, how many men versus women you see that do that every year?
No, but here's the thing, Neil. I don't think we're going to sway Karen.
No. She is who she is. She believes in what she believes in, and that's fine. However,
and Dion, I want you to read Dion's comment to her response to Karen to Erica's comment about calling out their brothers. And Dion asked the question. We say this, but do we as women call out women who do the same? And now Dion is refuting what Karen said and says she saw women posting. Let me be real. Right? It's the women that post these things.
Because two men post it on the day don't mean that, men do it. Two men, sure, okay, fine. All right, cool. I'm not saying that the men didn't post it. Could be 2 men, could be 10 men, could be 20 men, could be 100 men. I am not disputing that.
Right.
But I will say that generally, if you were to say, you know, on the given day for a parent, this body does react this way or that body react that way, it is overwhelmingly understood that women react negatively toward men on Father's Day. No, sure, you could say there are a lot of deadbeat fathers, that's why. Okay. But you see, we're not going to get anywhere if we keep circling back to, but men do this too, but women do this too. Because nobody in here is saying that this is an issue, well, apart from Karen, they're saying that men are guilty of this too. I have never, ever, ever seen a man comment negatively on Mother's Day or Father's Day. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. Derek, I don't know if you've ever seen it. Point remains, Karen, I would advise you to change your algorithm on Facebook or saying, because we don't know that experience. That's true. We just pick and choose what we want to see. Y'all actually did it to me tonight. Self with the sperm donor comment when I specifically said I missed something. No, but you see, Karen, we're not picking and choosing what we saw, right?
Be honest, making the comment, right, Neil? I'm going to be honest, right? When women post negativity on social media, rarely are there comments below the post by women saying you shouldn't say that. Most of us see and scroll past, and then there are some who agree and like, and that's a fact. Yeah. That's a fact. And that's what I said a couple minutes ago. It is incumbent upon the women who want to see change to check their sisters, because the sister that is putting up something about sperm donors, are calling men sperm donors, that woman has no regard for men, not to the point that she's going to listen to anything men have to say. So it can be for men to say, this ain't on.
That ain't our place.
All that can happen there, all that's going to happen is that woman is going to flare up, push back, and we can get all kind of insults, you can get the shaming, a little bit of guilt throwing. And men, they want that. Not that they aren't prepared to deal with it, but they just don't want to deal with it.
Yeah. So Karen, I would say we're not picking and choosing what we saw. You made a comment based on what you saw and where we were in the podcast. You know, I don't know your situation. I don't know where all this is coming from, but we are literally, from what I have seen, I don't know if people that are watching could tell us if we did something wrong or anything like that, but from what I understand, what we are saying is take care of your children. And we've said it in this space a few times. So let's say, no, men, if you know that this is not a woman you can see a future with or raise children with or whatever, don't have unprotected sex with her. Yes, I understand certain systems fail. Pills fail. Condoms fail. Everything fails. And yes, you may think it hard that you don't want to abort a child. Speaking of women, obviously, that don't want to abort a child and you want to bring it to term. But there has to be a level of acceptance that, okay, I'm going to have this child regardless. You have the conversation with the man and you can tell that the man ain't interested or whatever. Then fine. You have a job to do regardless. It is unfortunate that the man does not take responsibility for what he does. And it is unfortunate, like, you know, men lie down with women without thinking past the nut that they're about to get. That is unfortunate, but we are asking both people to take accountability for their actions. And in this space, in this time, what we are talking about is taking accountability for posting stuff online that ain't really serving a benefit to nothing on a particular day that ain't really got nothing to do with you. Yeah? Fathers, men, if you posting BS about single mothers on Mother's Day or even on Father's Day or whatever, that ain't your place, that ain't doing nothing. You creating things like this. Exactly how Karen is responding to us is exactly what you are perpetuating. You're perpetuating essentially what's wrong with all the anger and the animosity towards one another. You understand? Like, take responsibility for your actions. You had a child. Good. What are we going to do about it? We could talk about condom fail. We could talk about pill fail. We could talk about everything. Point is, woman come to you. What are we going to do? The man says up front, well, I can't. You could tell, yo. The man might not outright say, I'm about that. But the man, you could tell, I don't want to talk people business because I know she's watching. But anyhow, the point is, You could tell. And if you know, shoot, it could be 2 years into it, 5 years into it, whatever. If you realize the man ain't, because it ain't only about money. Erica made the point. It's not only about money. It is about raising a child. If the man is not pulling his weight in raising the child and providing a stability for the child in that child rearing, then you gotta say, you know what? Time to get on with it. How many women I know that said, you know what? Get on with it. Listen, my mother would never speak ill of my father, or has never speak ill of my father in front of my brother and myself. Never. Never. As a matter of fact, whatever they went through to end up where they end up now and divorce and everything like that is their business. Right? But in terms of it affecting our father being a father to us, she has never said anything negative about him to paint our picture of him. Yeah? Because at the end of the day, you got a job to do as a parent, whether the other person there or not. Right? It is unfortunate. But you ain't doing, what were you doing? May, you posting, shoot, what would we single fathers? Or shout to all these single mothers, or you know what, y'all single mothers are toxic because y'all don't let it. What you doing? What you doing? Right? Leave those sort of things for spaces like this, where we can call out this negative behavior and come to a consensus that what we are doing don't make sense. Yeah? Because we put up a graphic earlier saying that toxic mothers are more dangerous than an absent father. Yeah? Let us do that. Let us take those crosses. Let me go over the hill and die on the hill. Let me do that. You understand? But let me not bog down in if men, women, fat, not whatever. The point is here, what we are trying to say here, long and short, is that we understand that there are a lot of deadbeat fathers. We could get into the reasons why they're deadbeat fathers. We're not going to do that now. The point is that there are fathers out there that are doing their damnedest, whether they're in a committed relationship with the child's mother or not. They are doing their damnedest to make sure that they raise a child that understands the world that they're going to be inheriting at some point in time. And like how mothers get their flowers on their day, all we are saying, shoot, let me get ours. You understand? I enjoyed my Father's Day, and there was no fanfare. As I said, my son gave me a hug and a card. His mother, put up a picture on her WhatsApp status and about me and my son and said Happy Father's Day. I know she appreciates, and that's the thing. In my life, I don't feel a need for her to do grandiose things because I know she appreciates me as a father in the ways we communicate and in the ways we deal with issues with our son. Even apart from that, I know she values me as her son's father. So I don't need her to do a fanfare. She has done fanfare things before, but what I'm saying, if a year she doesn't do something, I ain't gonna put the woman on blast and say, well, she could believe she. And if you are in a situation where you have a deadbeat father, I am sorry. I truly am sorry. Like, this ain't even me being, because I can't imagine having a child with a woman and not taking care of it. But you kind of gotta seek healing for that, for your personal growth and development, and for the well-being of your child or children. If the man ain't about it, all the putting in court and all of the putting up Facebook statuses, the man ain't changing, as Dion said. So the point is that Father's Day came and went, not as much fanfare as Mother's Day. And we saw some things that, and it made us, because one of the questions is men not as much as are we appreciated in society as fathers and everything like that. So I know, man, I just feel as though and there's so many things we have to deal with in this whole man-woman dynamic, right? Men doing men things, women doing women things, having children and then doing men-women things around the children. Like, we have to get into a space of healing, mutual understanding, and communication, because us shouting over a fence ain't helping nobody. Yeah, so I see Ricardo Atkins, shout out, brother. God bless your mother, Neil. Yeah, my mother, I ain't gonna lie. It's an amazing woman. And demand, I see Erica, demand drives supply, mothers drive demand. If mothers don't want to celebrate fathers, y'all will have a lackluster Father's Day. Demand, demand drives supply, mother. Well, there you go. Vincent. And taking responsibility for your actions could also include seeking counseling to deal with your issues. Many of us are walking around BIM looking for fights with the wrong people. Yo, on facts. Dion,
Facts, man.
what people don't consider in these scenarios are the children, how the negative talk affects them as children and the adults they become. Words matter, period. Fact on fact on fact. If every day you get with this blasted man, with he and a good, this and that, next eater, I don't know where he fathered on or she fathered on.
How do you think the children are going to view?
I mean,
Said man.
and if you as a parent, as a mother, as a father, want your child to see the child as you see, want not your child, see the other parent as how you see the other parent in a negative way, you're not doing a service to that child. I see my man Sean. Raising a better quality human being needs to be the focus for both parents. Public bitterness does not further that end. And that is all we saying, yo. All we saying here in the matters of parenting is that take responsibility. We men, again, I don't know anyone in our circle, in my circle of friends, my male friends, who are not stepping up to the plate and being fathers to their children. I literally, and I don't know if it is just being around like-minded people. I don't know if it is being, drawn to people that have similar morals and standards. But literally every man that I know that has children around me, I can't say neglecting their children. Like, I don't know any. I literally do not know any. I don't.
You don't.
So in my community, in my small village, in my small circle, we don't see it. We don't see it. So like to say we seeing a man not taking his children and he close to us enough to say, well, bro, you gotta take care of your child, you gotta man up and deal with that or whatever, without coming over as telling him what to do with his life. You know what I mean? Like, we don't see that. We don't know them men. We do not know those men. So
if we are in that situation, we don't know.
That's the point, right?
You know, if it is a case of the father is not playing an active role,
we don't know that.
And as such, we can't speak to that. If we did know,
we would say with some man, you go. I know, man. I just saying, in all of this, right? In all of this, let us not lose sight of what the goal is, right? And that is it started out by us encouraging and empowering the fathers, because the fathers that, again, we started this space by saying we feel as if we're not appreciated, that we are not valued, that we are disposable, right? That permeates into fatherhood. So if in fatherhood we don't feel appreciated or we feel like people don't care or whatever, it is demoralizing. I ain't saying that we ain't gonna stop taking care of what we got to take care of or whatever, but it is demoralizing to know, you're seeing a lot of fanfare and you doing the damnedest for your child and the boy checking. Yeah. And I've actually heard, sorry, Dad, I can let you think, but I've even heard one year that we are celebrating, we are saying good or happy Father's Day to men that doing what they're supposed to be doing.
I was just gonna say it. Chris Rock has Chris Rock. He has a skit where he says, he talks about the difference between black people and ninjas. I can't say that word. Right? So hopefully you get me. Yeah. And he says ninjas want credit for stuff they're just supposed to do. So you would hear a ninja say, hey, I take care of my kids.
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. That's why there's a specific day to celebrate both the man and the woman, the mother and the father.
You know what I mean? So don't let me get tied up, right? And let us not ever think that it is cool to disrespect one or the other. No. It's not. Because I saw the guys making a little bit of a joke at it a couple of minutes ago. Because if the men are the sperm donors, what are the women? The receptacle obviously. And that I'm sure they might have put that on any social media platform would be that probably
Yeah.
get taken
Yeah.
down, blocked, and probably some kind of hate speech or something
Imagine
like that
calling a
you
woman a
hear.
cum dump. Ooh.
Yeah, yeah, I don't think that would
Ooh.
go over well. Given the community you're on and stuff like that, it will probably that person will probably get blocked from Facebook or whatever. People get blocked for less, so probably that will happen.
I see Erica. Erica gonna come here to kill me there. Nick Cannon breathing kidney donor, stay
Kidney
walk.
donors.
Yeah.
Very
A
true.
lot of kidneys.
But yeah, you know what I mean. But it in no again, we are not talking about the guy who we all know point blank in the use. My man Nick Cannon, Pookie and Ray Ray. We get it. We know that those types exist, right? But the same token, we know that I got some women that we call them children getters. They're just
Collecting
getting
children like
children.
infinity stones.
Yeah, and all they're doing is maintaining them. They aren't raising them. So you got some place to sleep,
You got food in your belly.
keep got food
You're
in your
getting
belly.
school.
Sometimes I put clothes on your back. I say your school sometimes.
My job is done.
My job is done. But outside of that, there's no raising of the children. We ain't talking about that. Because we could call that out. What we're saying, just let the women, the mothers have their day. Single mothers, Mother's Day is for you. Father's Day is not. It is not. It ain't for you, one, and it is not your opportunity to attack those men who have chosen one way or the other, for whatever reason, not to be the father that they're supposed to be. Yeah, respect due,
Yeah.
right? Respect due, and let
Right.
it soar.
And just to wrap it home, you know, as a man, I big on sayings, right? You know, I live my life on do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And there's also another saying, a lesser one that is not as important in my life, but is also saying, if you don't have anything good to say, don't say anything. So
Yeah,
if you know,
emotion.
you know how more peaceful social media would be if people just say, you know, well, this coming from a bad place. Let me not say it. Let me not hit send. Yeah.
It's
You understand what I mean? Like, I know, man.
yeah. I remember a couple years ago, I was judging. I was doing a NIFCA semi-final at Alexandra
Mm.
School. And my boy Ronnie Davis, he was the music officer at the NCF at the time. And Ronnie, there was a discussion at the back, a back and forth at the table. I was sitting at the end of the table as the youngest member of the panel. I would tell you what was going on there. So he was right next to me, and we were kind of listening to the discussion. And Ronnie looked at me and said, "You know, Derek, life would be a lot simpler if people would look at every situation and ask the question, what is my role
Mm.
here?
Mm. Are you a protagonist or an antagonist?
Yeah. Or shoot, am I
At
involved in
all.
this story at
Fact
all?"
on fact.
And a lot of times you will find this ain't really called to me. Keep it tracking. You know what I
Mm.
mean? And I think we need to get to that place. As opposed to, as you say, Neil, just getting remote and saying things that we shouldn't say. Before we wrap up, because see we at 9:30, right? And I try to see if we could keep it tight
Mm.
these days. I just want to go back a little bit because I know Karen said that we misinterpreted whatever it is that she
Mm-hmm.
said. So I I don't want to be said that we are doing that and that we are taking anybody out of context. So I just want to make sure. Right. So Karen made a comment where I missed piece. What's the issue with referring to a male who is not being a father as he should be as a sperm donor? That's the comment she made. So I don't know if I took it out of context or not. Um, And if I did, that's unfortunate. But it looks as if, as the guy said, it was a case where you were supporting calling men sperm donors. And if that's indeed the case,
We can't we can't
I
condone.
can't, I
Can't get
can't, I
down.
can't, I
Can't
can't
get
avoid that.
can't
I can't
can't
avoid
get
that
jiggy
at
with it.
all, right? Um, because nobody ain't calling the women them things. Oh well, what would be the female equivalent? A collection plate, a receptacle, a bin, none of them things, right?
Although I think she was
So
making the point that some men do. And again, I have never. I mean, again,
but I get more. If that's the case, I'm going to, with regard to the whole thing about you see more men doing it or whatever, I'm going to borrow a statement from Jennifer that she gave you a couple of weeks ago. So don't copyright me, Jennifer. Don't borrow her comment. Need to change your pool. Change your pool. Yeah.
Change it. Your friends change it. The Facebook algorithm need changing.
Yeah. But respect you to everybody, folks. That's the main point we're getting at. Let me try to get Father's Day on the same level of Mother's Day.
It keeps up the morale for us, man, and fathers. Yeah.
Yeah. If you see your friends, dissing the men, I find interesting. A lot of the stuff that I see being perpetuated, it is really a lot of girl code. It is not lived experiences. So even here in the chat, I see some of the ladies commenting and saying certain things, and I find it interesting because I know that is not their lived experience, right? So I get it. But ladies, if you know it ain't cool, check your friends, check your sisters, whatever you want to call them. You can show. Don't just message me and tell me we look at this here.
I see some Erica saying the live going backward. You see the Matrix. I call up Facebook and the man hurt. Holy. Oh Lord, no! I'm sorry, Mark Zuckerberg. I am so sorry, yo. My fault, bro.
Yeah.
I keep Facebook name out my mouth.
So, ladies, the same way you want the men to hold our brothers accountable, you gotta do that for us too, right? Because while we will take what men say, and we will also take what women will say to us under advisement, some women ain't doing that. A lot of women ain't doing that. A lot of women ain't want to hear nothing.
Unless you part in what they believe.
You know what I mean? So you gotta do me that favor, ladies. Do us that favor. Hold your sister accountable. And when you see them come to spew that anti-man thing, this ain't cool. Because here's the thing. If you said to those ladies, you could have the man of your dreams tomorrow, the anti-man talk done with.
Wait. Michael B. Jordan saying a lot of these DMs.
They no more anti-man talk. You know what I mean? So don't let them come and run that game for you. Because it's only you that running it on. Because we could see we want to.
But
But
a lot of people may say that we spewing a lot of anti-woman rhetoric.
Not really. We actually.
I mean, no, but I mean, but no. I can't speak. I speak only for me. But yeah, but in all seriousness, people can say that we spewing anti-woman hate and anti-relationship and anti-whatever. Honestly, I can keep saying it every week, right? I appreciate everyone that brings their comments into the Senate and they watch and they engage us, right? Push back and everything, because this is how we get to the root of things. This is how we expose certain behaviors. This is how we highlight certain things. And this is how we get to conversations and communication, right? Everybody has had a rough experience. Shoot, you don't get to the ages that we get to. Shoot, matter of fact, you don't even get to have the ages that we get to, and it not be rough in some instances. So, this space is to get these conversations going and rolling, right? You can always encourage y'all to bring your friends, people that agree or disagree. Keep challenging us, keep pushing back and everything like that. And we can do our damnedest to get to every comment and to talk about everything. But let's just make it abundantly clear again. This space is from a man's perspective. And this is from a space of improving a man's perspective and well-being. Ideally, we want everybody's perspective to change. We want everybody to be the best version of themselves. Yeah? And we will continue to say that and put that out for everyone. But we are trying to do our best to hold men accountable and to have men understand certain things that are out there. Remember, Derek saying he hipping you to the game. It is not ideal. It is not ideal. The game is shit. As a matter of fact, some people believe it shouldn't be a game. I agree. Derek agrees. However, until that change has come, we have to make sure that men and women understand what foolishness is going on out there, though. You know how many conversations I've had on this podcast and outside this podcast where we're just incredulous in some of the things I tell them in terms of dating and things that happened to me and things that were said to me and everything like that. And I am sure that there are women that can say the very same thing about me and about bad experiences and everything like that. The point is that I know where it went wrong. I work in a where it went wrong, and I'm not the same person that made the mistakes I made before. Shoot, got mistakes I made here this year that I ain't gonna make going forward because I am about learning and evolving. Yeah, my friends have told me already certain things in my outlook don't make sense, and I can't say that you say this or whatever. My friends hold me accountable, my male friends. Yeah, so having said all of that, people, we just want you all to come with whenever said and done, right? However, if it's a man, a woman, however you approaching this, after hearing that it's a man's perspective and all of that, and we understand and welcome the female perspective and experience, understand that you come in with an open mind. Come with an open mind. That's all we ask. Come with an open mind. We could argue ding dong. Me and Derek could argue along about things. Shoot, you all seen it. Derek and I disagree on certain things from a male's perspective. But what? What I mean? Me and Derek and friends? I just call Derek. Well, some men just do this, some men just... No. Derek believe what he believe, I believe what I believe. But in the middle, we understand what it is. We understand what it is. So that's all. That's all. My man trying to keep it tight. So...
Yeah, fool. Check us out. Facebook, The Senate Podcast. YouTube, The Senate Podcast. Instagram, The Senate Podcast 246. SenateInSession@gmail.com. Please want to send it in your... Find submissions. As a matter of fact, we give you a couple seconds to do that right now. Yeah. Invite your friends. Let them come and hear us. Be the best version of you. And remember, I don't make the rules. I just let you know what they are so that you can play the game. We'll see you guys on Thursday.
Good night, everybody. Stay safe and peace and love.
You see. So come wind back for me. I wanna see if we got good chemistry. And come wind up for me. Don't hold back, y'all. Just be free. I love